Hello and welcome, and this is the BMW E46 M3, and as you can see it comes in a wide assortment of different colors. Now I know you didn't click on this video wanting to know what color options does the M3 have. You clicked on this video because of the title or even the thumbnail, but before we get into that, we're gonna go over the standard vehicle. So for 84,000 in-game credits, you can pick up the 03 BMW M3. Yes, I said 03 because the specific one we have in-game is almost 20 years old. Now I know production started in 2000, so the E46 M3 is already 20 years old. And trust me, you would never say that looking at this vehicle. I feel like BMW was ahead of its time when they came out with this vehicle, because even compared to some modern vehicles, this car can still outperform or run with the best of them. There's no way that this car is underpowered or at a disadvantage to some modern vehicles. Now, the car handling wise, it is such a blast. Okay, it does suffer from understeer now and then. As you can see, it actually went off circuit, but that's just parts of the fun. It's part of the excitement and driving experience of the BMW M3. And in typical M3 fashion, it lights up the rear wheels and you're able to take it sideways around most turns. That's just such a BMW thing. Now, one thing I must say, BMW has always been a go-to performance vehicle, that they have created such a brand following and a brand loyalty that they're able to get away with stuff like this. This is a look that only Stevie Wonder can appreciate. This is a really love it or hate it front end. Now, with the majority of people being on the hated side, that just goes to show you how people feel about these new front ends. But even with me making jokes about the front end, I would still love to see that M3 come to game so we can experience what it's gonna be like to be behind the wheel of that car, because even though it has a funny looking front end, you already know it's gonna be an amazing vehicle to take around the circuit, just like this one. But talking about this M3, this M3 is the standard version. Yes, it's kind of hard to explain how it's the standard version of the sports version of the standard 360. Okay, hear me out. So there's the BMW M3, this that we have in game. Then we got the BMW M3 CSL. CSL was a lightweight version where they just took carbon fiber and splashed it all over the car and added 15 kilowatts. That was it. But then in 2001, the mechanics over at BMW decided to go a bit crazy and lose their minds, because they decided we're gonna take this E46 M3 and we're gonna chuck a whole V8 into it, giving birth to the BMW GTR. Now, BMW were only supposed to make 10 of these special M3s, but somehow that was still too much for them, as they only made 6, and 3 of them are prototypes. So there are only 3 production BMW M3 GTRs actually out there in the world. In Gran Turismo 7, if you are fortunate enough, you can actually make your own BMW M3 GTR, because we can engine swap this vehicle. We can take the BMW Racing V8 coming out of the Group 3 Z4 and put it into this E46. Now, doesn't that just sound like perfection? The sound fits the look of this vehicle absolutely spot on. Now, the livery that I went for is the BMW M3 GTR race livery. Did I forget to mention that the GTR was actually a race car? Yeah, the 10 cars that were produced, well, 6 were the road going versions of the race car. So yes, In Gran Turismo 7 we can try our hardest to mimic the BMW M3 GTR race car, and with my tune and setup I think we did quite well. I will post the tune and setup at the very end of the video, so if you want to check that out and try this car out for yourself, you'll find the tune there. Now, this car I'm driving in the footage now has zero traction control on, and in a vehicle that produces almost 800 brake horsepower, it produces 788 brake horsepower fully upgraded. So you would expect all of that power going to the rear wheels would create absolute chaos. However, it is the complete opposite. This car is one of the most well-behaved and controllable engine swap vehicles you'll ever experience. With no traction control, okay, there is a little bit of slippage, but I barely felt anything. The only time I felt real slippage or the rear end was coming out was when we were first going around the turn to start our flying lap. I mean, I was taking corners relatively fast. I was taking some of them actually flat out, and even coming out of the sharp hairpin turn, I got onto the accelerator and the car didn't break traction. It didn't lose all self-preservation. The car kept its composure and just took me around the track incredibly fast. This is, in my opinion, one of the best engine swap vehicles. I know I say that almost every video, but this is truly an exception. It is high up there. This car should not be able to take corners at such a high speed or just have this insane level of grip. Now here are a few facts that some people may be interested in. I was able to do a top speed of 394 kilometers per hour. This is without nitrous and without drafting other players. I was able to do almost 400 kilometers per hour in this very BM. Down the quarter mile, I was able to do an 11.784. Now you can set a faster time. I set nowhere near the fastest time, but it's all about throttle control, because when setting a quarter mile time, no traction control, you just need to balance wheel spin and try and nail the perfect launch. So yes, that time can be so much faster. So the BMW M3 GTR, I'm saying that in quotation marks because it's a fake GTR. This is the closest we can get at current time to the BMW M3 GTR. Will they add the actual thing into the game in the future? I don't know, but if we don't, I'm quite content with the one I have. So with all this being said, hope you guys did enjoy this video. Peace.